A single emergency could change everything at Nonatus house. One heartbreaking trauma may force the midwives to make impossible decisions, test friendships like never before, and remind everyone that even the strongest people can reach their breaking point. But what if this emotional crisis becomes the event that completely reshapes the future of Call the Midwife? While the BBC has not officially revealed the full story for season 16, new developments surrounding the franchise have sparked endless discussion among fans. And if these clues are pointing in the right direction, the next chapter could become one of the most emotional seasons the series has ever delivered. For many years, Call the Midwife has been known for telling powerful stories about hope, family, and compassion. Every season introduces difficult medical cases, emotional family struggles, and moments that remind viewers why the midwives continue their work despite every challenge they face. But season 16 could raise those emotional stakes even higher. After everything that happened recently, Nonatus House is entering a completely new era. Familiar routines have changed, beloved characters have faced painful losses, and the future feels more uncertain than ever before. That uncertainty creates the perfect foundation for a season built around one unforgettable trauma. One of the biggest reasons fans are expecting a much darker emotional story is because the series has slowly been changing over the past few years. Earlier seasons often balanced joyful births with heartbreaking tragedies. More recently, however, the writers have focused on larger social issues, emotional recovery, and the changing healthcare system across Britain. Those themes naturally open the door for stories that feel even more personal. Instead of facing only medical emergencies, the characters are now also dealing with emotional wounds that cannot be healed with medicine alone. That is exactly why many viewers believe season 16 could begin with an emergency unlike anything the midwives have experienced before. It may not simply be another complicated birth. Instead, it could involve an entire family suddenly finding themselves in a devastating situation that forces everyone at Nonatus House to work together. The series has always shown that every patient brings a unique story, and sometimes those stories leave a lasting impact on the caregivers themselves. If the next season follows that tradition, the emotional consequences could continue throughout every episode. At the same time, the future of Nonatus House itself feels uncertain. With so many changes happening inside the organization, every decision now carries greater weight than ever before. The nurses and nuns are no longer working in the same world they once knew. Medical technology is improving, hospitals continue expanding, and community healthcare is changing rapidly. These developments create constant pressure, forcing the staff to adapt while trying to preserve the compassion that has always defined their mission. This changing environment also affects every character on a personal level. Some may begin questioning whether they can continue carrying such enormous emotional responsibility every single day. Others may discover new confidence during moments of crisis. That balance between fear and courage has always been one of the greatest strengths of Call the Midwife. Every difficult situation reveals something new about the people involved. A quiet character suddenly becomes a leader. Someone who seems strong finally admits they are struggling. Those emotional transformations often become the true heart of the series. If season 16 truly centers around one heartbreaking trauma, the impact will almost certainly extend far beyond the patient involved. Every emergency changes the people who witness it. The midwives have delivered thousands of babies, comforted countless families, and experienced more loss than most people could imagine. Yet they continue returning because they believe every life deserves care, dignity, and hope. That belief may once again be tested in ways nobody expects. Another reason this upcoming season feels especially important is because the entire Call the Midwife franchise is expanding. With the confirmed prequel exploring the origins of Nonatus House and a feature film already in development, the main series now carries even greater responsibility. Season 16 has the opportunity to connect the past, present, and future of these characters. It can remind viewers why this community has survived through decades of change while introducing emotional challenges that feel fresh and unpredictable. That is why many fans believe the writers will avoid relying only on shocking moments. Instead, they are more likely to focus on the emotional aftermath of one life-changing event. The trauma itself may happen quickly, but its consequences could affect every relationship inside Nonatus House. Trust may be questioned, Confidence may disappear, long-hidden fears may finally come to the surface. And through all of it, the midwives will once again discover that healing is about much more than treating physical injuries. As more information about season 16 slowly begins to emerge, one thing already feels clear. The next chapter is unlikely to return to business as usual. Instead, it appears ready to explore what happens when even the most experienced caregivers are pushed beyond their emotional limits. If that becomes the central story, viewers could be preparing for one of the most unforgettable journeys in the history of Call the Midwife. And the biggest surprise may still be waiting just around the corner. As the season continues, the emotional weight of that first major trauma could begin spreading through every corner of Nonatus' house. The immediate crisis may eventually come to an end, but for the midwives, nurses, and nuns, the real challenge often begins afterward. One difficult case can stay with them for weeks or even months, influencing every decision they make. That has always been one of the defining strengths of Call the Midwife. Instead of treating emotional moments as isolated events, the series allows those experiences to shape its characters over time. If season 16 follows that same path, viewers could witness one of the deepest emotional journeys the show has ever explored. One possibility is that the heartbreaking emergency forces several characters to question their own confidence. Even experienced midwives sometimes wonder whether they could have done more to save someone. Those feelings of guilt are common in healthcare, and the series has never been afraid to explore them honestly. A single tragedy can leave someone replaying every decision in their mind, searching for answers that may never come. That emotional struggle could become one of the strongest storylines throughout the new season. At the same time, the younger members of the team may experience a completely different challenge. They entered the profession with hope, determination, and the desire to help others. But nothing truly prepares someone for the emotional reality of working through life and death situations. Facing a devastating case so early in their careers could test their courage in unexpected ways. Some may become stronger because of it, while others could begin questioning whether they have chosen the right path. That emotional uncertainty creates powerful drama without ever losing the compassion that defines the series. Meanwhile, Nonatus House itself continues facing enormous changes. Britain is entering a period where healthcare is evolving rapidly. New hospital policies, modern equipment, and changing government priorities are reshaping the way community medicine operates. These developments create additional pressure on the midwives, who must constantly adapt while continuing to provide personal care for every family they meet. The challenge is no longer simply delivering babies. It is preserving humanity in a healthcare system that is becoming larger and more complicated every year. These outside pressures could also create disagreements among the staff. Everyone shares the same goal of helping patients, but not everyone agrees on the best way to achieve it. Some characters may believe that modernization is necessary for the future, while others fear that important traditions are slowly disappearing. Those differences do not make anyone right or wrong. Instead, they reflect the changing world surrounding Nonatus House. The series has always balanced personal stories with historical events, and season 16 has another opportunity to continue that tradition. Beyond the hospital walls, families across Poplar may also face new social challenges. Every season introduces ordinary people dealing with extraordinary circumstances. Financial hardship, changing family structures, housing difficulties, and mental health struggles have all been important themes throughout the series. Season 16 could continue exploring those issues while reminding viewers that every medical emergency also carries an emotional story. Behind every patient is a family desperately hoping for good news, and behind every successful birth is a team of healthcare workers carrying the emotional weight of every outcome. Another storyline that fans continue discussing involves the future leadership of Nonatus House. As longtime characters grow older and responsibilities shift, younger members naturally begin taking on larger roles. Leadership is never simply about experience. It also requires compassion, wisdom, and the ability to stay calm during moments of crisis. If the season's central trauma pushes several characters beyond their comfort zones, it may also reveal who is truly ready to guide the next generation of midwives. This transition feels especially meaningful because the Call the Midwife universe is expanding beyond the main series. With the confirmed wartime prequel exploring the origins of Nonatus House, viewers will soon see how earlier generations faced impossible circumstances with courage and determination. That historical perspective may make season 16 even more emotional, showing that while medicine continues changing, the values of kindness, sacrifice, and community remain exactly the same. The writers also have an opportunity to deepen the relationships between the central characters. Difficult moments often bring people closer together. Conversations that have been avoided for years may finally happen. Long hidden fears could finally be shared. Friendships may become stronger after supporting one another through overwhelming loss. These quieter emotional moments have always been just as important as the dramatic medical cases, allowing audiences to connect with the characters on a deeply personal level. Of course, no season of Call the Midwife would feel complete without moments of hope. Even after heartbreaking tragedies, the series consistently reminds viewers that life continues moving forward. Every new baby represents another beginning. Every family that receives help proves why the work of the midwives remains so important. That balance between sorrow and hope has made the show beloved around the world for more than a decade. As speculation surrounding season 16 continues growing, many fans believe the emotional trauma at the center of the story will ultimately become more than just another difficult medical case. Instead, it could serve as the turning point that changes every major character in some way. Some relationships may become stronger, others may be tested like never before, and new leaders could emerge when they are needed most. If that happens, the second half of the season may deliver some of the most unforgettable emotional moments in the entire history of Call the Midwife. As every storyline begins moving toward its conclusion, the biggest question is not whether the midwives can overcome another difficult challenge. The real question is how much this heartbreaking trauma will change them forever. Throughout the history of Call the Midwife, the most unforgettable moments have never been about dramatic twists alone. They have been about ordinary people finding extraordinary strength during the darkest days of their lives. If season 16 continues that tradition, its emotional ending could become one of the most memorable chapters the series has ever delivered. One possibility is that the central trauma becomes the event that unites the entire Poplar community. The series has always shown that difficult times often bring people together rather than driving them apart. Families who barely know one another suddenly offer support. Neighbors step forward without being asked. The nurses, nuns, doctors, and volunteers all work side by side with one shared purpose. That sense of community has always been the heart of the show, and season 16 could remind viewers why it remains just as powerful today as it was in the very first episode. The emotional recovery may also become just as important as the emergency itself. Physical injuries often heal with time, but emotional scars can last much longer. Some characters may struggle with painful memories that continue affecting their confidence. Others could discover a new appreciation for the people around them after realizing how quickly life can change. These quieter emotional moments are often where Call the Midwife shines the brightest. Instead of rushing toward the next crisis, the series allows its characters to grow naturally through every experience. The season could also place greater focus on hope after loss. Every difficult story in Call the Midwife has carried an important message that even during life's hardest moments, compassion never loses its value. The midwives cannot always change the outcome of every situation, but they can make sure no family faces those moments alone. That simple idea has remained at the center of the series for more than a decade, and it continues to resonate with audiences around the world. Meanwhile, the future of Nonatus House may become clearer than ever before. With healthcare continuing to evolve, the organization must decide how to move forward while protecting the values that have guided it for generations. Modern medicine may introduce new technology and new procedures, but kindness, patience, and understanding can never be replaced. Season 16 has the opportunity to show that true healthcare is about far more than medical treatment. It is about listening, comforting, and standing beside people when they need help the most. Another emotional storyline could involve the passing of responsibility from one generation to the next. Longtime viewers have watched many beloved characters arrive, grow, and eventually move on. That natural cycle has always kept the series feeling fresh while honoring its past. Season 16 may continue that tradition by allowing newer midwives to step into larger roles, proving that the mission of Nonatus House will continue no matter how much the world changes around it. The timing of season 16 also makes this chapter especially meaningful. With the confirmed wartime prequel preparing to explore the early history of Nonatus House and the feature film expanding the story beyond Britain, the franchise is entering an exciting new phase. Rather than signaling an ending, these new projects suggest that the world of Call the Midwife is continuing to grow. The main series remains the emotional foundation of that universe, making its next season even more important for longtime fans. Even so, it is important to remember that many details about Season 16 have not been officially confirmed. While the BBC has announced future projects connected to the franchise, specific storylines, character arcs, and episode events for the next season remain under wraps. Much of the discussion surrounding a major trauma comes from fan speculation and the emotional direction the series has taken in recent years, rather than official plot announcements. Until the creators reveal more information, viewers can only piece together clues from interviews and previous seasons. Still, if there is one thing fans have learned over the years, it is that Call the Midwife always finds new ways to surprise its audience. Just when it seems the characters have found peace, another challenge arrives that tests their courage, compassion, and determination. Yet, through every hardship, they continue showing why their work matters. They remind us that even in the most heartbreaking situations, kindness has the power to bring comfort, hope, and healing. That may ultimately become the true message of Season 16. The heartbreaking trauma itself may capture everyone's attention, but the real story could be about the strength people discover after facing unimaginable loss. It could be about friendships growing stronger, communities standing together, and ordinary people proving that compassion can survive even the darkest moments. For now, fans will have to wait for the BBC to reveal the next chapter. But if Season 16 delivers the same emotional storytelling, unforgettable characters, and powerful sense of hope that have defined the series from the very beginning, it could become one of the most moving seasons ever created. And when the doors of Nonatus House finally open once again, viewers may discover that its greatest challenge has also become its greatest reminder, that even after heartbreak, life always finds a way to move forward. So what do you think will happen when Call the Midwife finally returns for Season 16? Will this heartbreaking trauma become the emotional turning point that changes Nonatus House forever? Could the next generation of midwives be forced to step into bigger roles than ever before? Or will the series surprise everyone with a completely unexpected story that no one sees coming? One thing is certain, Call the Midwife has never been a show that depends on shocking twists alone. Its greatest strength has always been its ability to tell deeply human stories filled with compassion, courage, and hope. Every season reminds us that even during the darkest moments, kindness can make all the difference. That is exactly why millions of viewers continue returning year after year. Although many details about Season 16 are still being kept secret, the future of the franchise has never looked more exciting. With the confirmed prequel taking us back to wartime London and a feature film expanding the story beyond Britain, fans have plenty to look forward to while waiting for the next chapter of the main series. As always, we'll continue following every official announcement, casting update, production detail, and release date as soon as new information becomes available. So if you don't want to miss the latest Call the Midwife news, make sure you stay tuned because there is still a lot more to come. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What kind of story are you hoping to see in Season 16? Which character do you think will face the biggest challenge? And do you believe the next season will become one of the most emotional in the show's history? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more updates, theories, and everything you need to know about your favorite TV shows. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.